In a quiet town nestled between misty hills and ancient forests, where stories often dance on the edge of myth and reality, lived a girl named Elira and a boy named Kael. They were no ordinary children, born under the same rare celestial event. When the twin moons aligned with the sun and cast an iridescent light over the world, they were gifted with magic. Elira could shape light, summon warmth, and heal with a touch, while Kael wielded shadows, bending time just slightly, enough to slip through seconds unnoticed. From the moment they met, their magic hummed in harmony, two halves of forgotten whole. Elira was a daughter of a healer, raised in a cottage at the forest's edge, where the wind carried whispers of old spells and the stars burned a little brighter. Kael came from a line of guardians, protectors of hidden gateways between realms, and lived near the mountains where echoes of ancient beasts still lingered. Their paths crossed when they were 12, drawn to the same clearing on the eve of the lunar bloom, a festival said to awaken true destinies. They saw each other through the floating lanterns and shimmering moonlight, and something unspoken passed between them, like the world had just remembered their story. For years, they met in secret places, exchanging charms, dreams, and laughter that felt like spells in themselves. As they grew, so did their powers and the bond that tethered them. They trained in forgotten arts, guided by a fox spirit who only revealed itself to the ones bound by fate. Elira and Kael learned balance, not only between light and shadow, but between fear and love, duty and desire. Their love was not always easy. When darkness surged from a cracked seal in the underworld, Elira was called to protect the people, and Kael to guard the realms. For months they were apart, feeling the ache of separation in the very magic that once brought them peace. Letters written in enchanted ink reached each other through dreams, each one a spark that kept the flame alive. They fought their battles, not just with spells, but with belief in each other, in a future they could still reach. On the longest night of the year, when the barrier between worlds was thinnest, a final battle broke open between corrupted spirits and the guardians of light. Elira stood beneath the ancient tree of Aeon, her light flickering against overwhelming shadow, until Kael stepped through the rift, his magic resonating with hers like a melody finally completed. Together, their powers didn't just offend, they healed. The night sky cracked with gold and silver, and silence fell as the two, hand in hand, mended the realm with a kiss that echoed through time. They didn't seek a crown or glory. Instead, they chose a quiet life near the edge of the world, where the veils were thin and stars still whispered secrets. Elira grew gardens of light that bloomed only under moonlight, and Kael taught the young how to listen to shadows without fear. Their love, real and true, wasn't written in books or carved into monuments, but in the wind that hummed between trees, the flowers that glowed in twilight, and every child born on the night the moons aligned, carrying just a touch of magic and the memory of a love that saved the world. Their story is still told, softly, like a lullaby, by those who believe in light, shadow, and the kind of love that bends fate. In time, the world they had saved began to change. Magic, once feared or hidden, began to bloom in everyday life. Children born in the years that followed came into their gifts more freely, without shame or secrecy. The ancient realm stayed quiet, watched over by the sentient forest, and by Elira and Kael, who, though they never sought titles, were often called by the people the heart and shadow of the new dawn. Their love deepened not in grand gestures, but in the quiet cadence of shared mornings, in hands brushing flour off each other while baking, in the way Kael would braid Elira's hair with moonflowers, or how Elira would trace constellations on Kael's back as he slept. They built a small sanctuary between forest and mountain, a place that shimmered with peace. Travelers often found themselves drawn there, unsure why, and left with their burdens a little lighter. But love, no matter how powerful, does not halt time. As the years moved gently onward, Elira's light grew softer, not dimmer, just more still, like the glow of fireflies before dawn. Kael's shadow magic, once sharp and fast, mellowed into something deeper, more grounded. Their power remained, but they began to step back, letting a new generation rise. They took on apprentices, not chosen for strength, but for kindness, courage, and curiosity. And those who trained under them learned that the most powerful magic came not from battle, but from connection, forgiveness, and love. When Elira grew ill, something even her healing magic couldn't reverse, Kael stayed by her side, holding her through every night, whispering stories into spaces between her breaths. She was never afraid. She smiled more, spoke less, but her light never left her eyes. One morning, as snow fell in the middle of spring, another rare omen, Elira took Kael's hand and said, "You'll find me in the stars. Don't follow yet. There's still more love to give here." She passed with the sunrise, wrapped in Kael's arms, her body dissolving into light that danced across the sky. Flowers bloomed in places they'd never grown. Birds sang strange, beautiful melodies. And for the first time in generations, even the shadows bowed in reverence. Kael mourned her, not by vanishing into grief, but by living the way she would have wanted. He kept the sanctuary, taught more students, and told their story often, sometimes smiling, sometimes crying, but always with a warmth that could only come from having known true, soul-deep love. And when his time came many years later, he didn't fade. He became one with the dusk, his spirit sliding effortlessly into the spaces between stars, where Lara waited, laughing softly. Some say you can still see them, dancing together in twilight, whenever the twin moons cross paths and the wind carries a tune that doesn't belong to any instrument. Magic blooms wild on those nights, and lovers who kiss beneath that sky swear they feel something stir, something ancient, gentle, and true. That is the story of Elira and Kael. A love not lost, not ended, but woven into the very fabric of the world, singing quietly to all who believe in a love that transcends even time. And so their love lingered, not just in memory or myth, but in the living, breathing pulse of the world itself. After Kael's passing, the sanctuary they had built remained untouched by age or storm. Vines never overgrew its walls, and snow never stayed too long upon its roof. Travelers who stumbled upon it often said it felt like stepping into a dream. Some said time slowed down there, just enough to remember what really mattered. The wind carried their laughter, the flowers grew in patterns resembling the runes Elira once traced in starlight, and a soft glow lit the windows even when no candle burned within. Children who wandered into the sanctuary, lost or seeking, always found warmth, a cup of tea waiting on the hearth, and a strange sense that someone, two someones, were watching over them with quiet affection. The fox spirit remained, now older in appearance, its fur shimmering with streaks of gold and silver. It would guide those worthy through the trees and whisper riddles that led to self-discovery, much as it had once done for Elira and Kael. Legends of the magical pair grew, not through exaggeration, but through quiet reverence. Their story was told at weddings, during solstice festivals, and whispered to children at bedtime as a reminder that real magic didn't always come from power, but from presence, from showing up, from loving without condition or expectation. Some say that when the world is in danger again, and it will be, for all things move in cycles, their spirits will return, not as saviors to wield might, but as guides, walking beside the next bearers of light and shadow, showing them how to lead with compassion, how to love with strength, how to heal not just wounds but hearts. A few swear they've already returned. That in a coastal town far from where the sanctuary stands, a young girl with glowing hands and a boy who casts no shadow walk side by side, helping without fame, loving without fear. They say the girl hums to the stars at night, and the boy writes a name in the sand and watches the waves carry it away, only for it to return again, unbroken. Maybe it's them. Maybe it's a new beginning. But always, wherever love is patient and brave, wherever magic blooms quietly in the corners of the world, there's Elira and Kael, the girl who carried light, the boy who danced with shadows, and the love that taught the world how to hope again.